Beyond the place of the living is a beautiful realm full of masters who have done good deeds. This is the heavenly realm. One master was happily gazing at something. It was some sort of mirror. The master began asking what kind of strange fate with heaven the object had. He said he didn't know what kind of strange magic the celestial mirror was playing. The mirror was showing a teenager beaten up in a battle. Then the master started interacting with the mirror, and it connected to the earth. There was a showdown between two disciples. The kid in question was actually the MC, Yeon Chungwoon. He was an outer disciple of Wudang. The great master in the heavenly realm was disappointed, saying that he had never seen such sloppy Tai Chi in his life. Yeon Chungwoon replied, saying the master could say whatever he wanted, but what he was doing wasn't that sloppy. The referee shouted at Yeon Chungwoon, asking him what nonsense he was spouting all of a sudden. Confused, Yeon Chungwoon asked what he meant. The referee told him to focus on the spar. Yeon Chungwoon apologized, but started to question what had happened because he had definitely heard something. The master, amazed, asked Yeon Chungwoon if he could hear him. Yeon Chungwoon began looking around, panicking as he heard something again, but his opponent seemed impatient, glaring at Yeon Chungwoon. Annoyed, the opponent called out, asking if Yeon Chungwoon wanted to get beaten even more. Then the opponent jumped at him, shouting at Yeon Chungwoon for daring to ignore him during the sparring. Yeon Chungwoon covered his head, thinking he would block the attack this time, but the enemy didn't target his head. Instead, he delivered a blow to Yeon Chungwoon's side. The arrogant opponent mocked Yeon Chungwoon, asking what he was doing since he was so exposed down there. The punch was so strong that it sank into Yeon Chungwoon's muscles, making him feel like he was about to vomit. The guy who beat Yeon Chungwoon was another Wudang Sect outer disciple named Yoon Sihu. Saliva flowed from Yeon Chungwoon's mouth as he held the part of his body that had taken the blow. Yoon Sihu asked how he dared to get distracted and ignore him when he was right in front of him. Yoon Sihu then told him that today, he was going to die by his hands. The other disciples seemed thrilled by what they were witnessing. One disciple commented that Yeon Chungwoon was getting beaten up again today. Another disciple laughed, saying that despite Yeon Chungwoon constantly challenging Yoon Sihu without any real skill, his perseverance was top-notch. Yet another disciple remarked that it wasn't his perseverance, but his ability to take hits that was top-notch. The other disciples agreed, laughing. Meanwhile, Yeon Chungwoon was really getting beaten up by Yoon Sihu. He wanted to curse those bastards because he could hear everything they were saying. But Yeon Chungwoon didn't plan to keep taking hits forever. That's why he shouted as he prepared to counterattack. He rushed forward to punch Yoon Sihu, but despite throwing multiple punches, none of them landed. Yoon Sihu easily evaded every attack, smiling like a demon as Yeon Chungwoon's punches passed by him. Yoon Sihu was merely toying with the MC, who had far weaker martial arts skills. Then Yoon Sihu stepped on Yeon Chungwoon's foot, causing him to stumble. As Yeon Chungwoon tried to regain his balance, Yoon Sihu insulted him, wondering how he had even gotten into the sect. He told him that this place wasn't for someone like him. This struck a nerve in Yeon Chungwoon, making him furious. He went wild and threw a punch at Yoon Sihu, declaring that he had come to the Wudang Sect to become stronger, just like him. But Yeon Chungwoon's resolve was just laughed at by the enemy as his attack was easily evaded. Yoon Sihu laughed and asked Yeon Chungwoon what he was even trying to do. Yoon Sihu was about to launch a counterattack, and Yeon Chungwoon began cursing, knowing it would hurt. Yoon Sihu mocked him, saying, "You must be joking. Just save that goal for your next life." Then Yoon Sihu unleashed a low kick that hit Yeon Chungwoon's chin, sending him flying. The kick seemed to hit a critical point, and Yeon Chungwoon suffered as he slowly fell to the ground. The other disciples started dragging Yeon Chungwoon out of the arena. The master in the heavenly realm seemed disappointed, asking if Yeon Chungwoon had just fainted. The master sighed deeply, saying that watching Yeon Chungwoon was so frustrating. He remarked that Yeon Chungwoon seemed to have decent potential, but wondered if the reason he wasn't making progress was because he didn't know how to train properly. Yeon Chungwoon was completely beaten down this time, but something about him caught the attention of the master, a being who had lived for hundreds of years. Meanwhile, the other disciples continued practicing martial arts, with the instructor telling them to focus. But Yeon Chungwoon was still lying on the ground from the earlier hit. The MC had always wanted to become a martial artist. As he watched battles where martial artist swords clashed, he realized that humans, made of mere flesh and bones, were not meant to crawl on the ground. That vague admiration he had as a child turned into envy, which became the driving force that led him to join the Wudang Sect as an outer disciple. Now, he was thinking that maybe he just wasn't talented to begin with, and that was how he ended up in this situation. Then the master called out to Yeon Chungwoon, telling him to wake up, but Yeon Chungwoon kept his eyes closed. The master got angry, shouting at him to wake up right now. Still, Yeon Chungwoon didn't want to open his eyes and even changed his lying position, saying he just needed 5 more minutes. The master shouted even louder, asking how he could sleep after getting beaten so badly. This caused Yeon Chungwoon to suddenly rise and start apologizing. A nearby disciple starts swearing, saying that Yeon Chungwoon's shouting scared him, and asked what he was doing. Meanwhile, Yeon Chungwoon was confused about what had just happened. But for the master, judging by Yeon Chungwoon's reaction, he realized that Yeon Chungwoon could clearly hear his voice. The other disciple started walking away, thinking that Yeon Chungwoon had become a weirdo. Yeon Chungwoon began to question what he had just heard. Was he the only one who could hear it? He thought it must be telepathy. The master scoffed, saying, "Telepathy? My foot," and asked Yeon Chungwoon if there was anyone around with that kind of skill. Yeon Chungwoon started looking around to see if anyone else was nearby. Yeon Chungwoon asked the master who he was. The master replied that he was Jang Sanfeng. Dumbfounded, Yeon Chungwoon asked what he meant by that. Jang Sanfeng, also known by nicknames like Jang the Sloppy or the Ragtag Taoist, was an eccentric figure known for treating everyone equally, regardless of their rank, whether they were emperors or commoners. As both a martial artist and Taoist, Jang Sanfeng was famous for further developing Taoist philosophy and founding the Wudang Sect. He was also believed to be the creator of Tai Chi. Yeon Chungwoon looked at the large statue of Master Jang nearby and asked if he was really the Jang Sanfeng he had heard of. Master Jang confirmed, saying, "Yes, that's me," to which Yeon Chungwoon simply replied, "Okay," as if it were just a normal occurrence. Master Jang raised an eyebrow and asked, "What's with that reaction? You don't find this ridiculous?" Yeon Chungwoon smiled while scratching his head and said, "It's better for something ridiculous to be happening than for me to actually be crazy." This response caught Master Zhang's attention. He laughed in shock and asked, "So if you had to choose between something special and abnormal, you'd rather be someone special?" Yeon Chungwoon nodded, and Master Zhang, amused, said, "Well, you'd better catch on quickly if you want to become a better martial artist." At that moment, Master Zhang noticed that Yeon Chungwoon was working on something and asked, "What are you doing?" Yeon Chungwoon was building a small stone statue. He asked the master if he was referring to the statue and explained, "Talking to the tall stone statue hurts my neck, so I made a smaller one." The master burst into laughter, saying, "You're a funny guy." Yeon Chungwoon chuckled and told Master Zhang, "The way you speak is pretty casual. I expected that from someone called the Ragtag Taoist." Master Zhang smiled and said, "I've missed hearing that nickname." Just then, another disciple interrupted, asking Yeon Chungwoon what he was doing since he seemed to be talking to rocks. The disciple told him to come out because it was time for their sparring review. Yeon Chungwoon agreed, saying, "I'll be there soon." The disciple walked away, thinking that Yeon Chungwoon was a strange guy. Yeon Chungwoon sighed deeply. He dreaded the review sessions, as they were meant to point out what the disciples did wrong and right during sparring. But Yoon Sihu always used them as an excuse to beat him up again and again. Despite this, Yeon Chungwoon straightened his clothes and muttered to himself, "It doesn't matter anymore. I'm not going to run away." He believed that he wasn't a coward, and he wasn't someone who would back down from a fight. More than anything, he wanted to win. He wanted to become stronger. Master Jang told Yeon Chungwoon that he seems to be in quite a pinch. Yeon Chungwoon could only laugh, saying he guesses so. Master Jang asks him if he isn't being a bit too cheerful for someone in a pinch. Yeon Chungwoon replied that maybe he was just a strange guy, and asks Master Jang if he dislikes strange things. Master Jang leaned in close to the celestial magic mirror, saying that he likes strange things. He smiled, watching above the MC, saying he totally loves those strange things. On the other hand, the MC was walking towards the place for the review session, but felt a strange sensation, as if someone was shooting lasers at the top of his head. Then, in the arena, Yeon Chungwoon was getting beaten once again. After being punched, the MC started to fall. The instructor called Yoon Sihu, reminding him that the review session was for the last duel, and warning him to refrain from direct hits. Yoon Sihu bowed and apologized. However, Yeon Chungwoon knew it was just an empty warning. Given Yoon Sihu's strong backing, even the inner disciples of the sect tread carefully around him. Master Jang told the MC that he was supposed to perform the veiling hand elbow strike without any preparatory movements. Trying to hit hard makes the body tense, revealing one's true form, which is why Yeon Chungwoon kept getting countered. Master Jang told him that what he was doing wouldn't work, and asked Yeon Chungwoon if he wanted to try doing it in his own way. Yeon Chungwoon asked Master Jang how. Then the instructor called Yeon Chungwoon, telling him to focus. The MC apologized. The instructor asked, when he got hit on the chin just now, instead of using the veiling hand elbow strike, which other basic move he thought he could use. Master Jang said it was 6 ceilings and 4 closings. Yeon Chungwoon heard what Master Jang said and repeated the same thing to the instructor in a questioning tone. This made Yoon Sihu smile as he asked Yeon Chungwoon what he meant by using 6 ceilings and 4 closings up close. Yoon Sihu added that a dull head makes the body suffer. Then Yoon Sihu rushed at Yeon Chungwoon to attack him, saying it was time. Master Jang warned Yeon Chungwoon that the enemy was coming. Yoon Sihu was about to release an attack, and told Yeon Chungwoon to give it a shot, referring to what he was saying earlier. Master Jang told Yeon Chungwoon to press down and shift his weight, which he followed. At this point, the MC seemed to be losing balance from the push. Master Jang told him he needed to plant both feet on the ground and maintain balance. Yoon Sihu turned around and jumped to release a 360-degree kick. As Yoon Sihu was about to kick him in the head, Yeon Chungwoon's eyes widened, but Master Jang told him to press down again and shift his weight. Yeon Chungwoon followed Master Jang's instructions and was able to block the strong kick, perfectly capturing Yoon Sihu's foot. Yoon Sihu was alarmed by the catch. Master Jang told Yeon Chungwoon that he was doing the right thing and now needed to use both of his palms. He advised him to push out with both hands, not just for attacking, but also to gauge the distance between himself and his opponent. After that push, the enemy started to lose his balance. Master Jang told Yeon Chungwoon that he needed to block all directions: front, back, left, right, up, and down. This made Yoon Sihu start whining, calling Yeon Chungwoon a rascal because he couldn't see anything ahead. Yoon Sihu told Yeon Chungwoon he must have gone crazy, annoyed by the situation. He was about to counterattack, but Master Jang instructed Yeon Chungwoon to use dynamic ki circulation. Yeon Chungwoon moved his feet to avoid the attack. Master Jang advised Yeon Chungwoon that he didn't need to think ahead and should let everything flow. With that advice, Yeon Chungwoon managed to evade Yoon Sihu's attack. Yoon Sihu couldn't believe that his attack was evaded this time. Yeon Chungwoon remained focused on his enemy, but the other disciples were shocked to see his movements. They started asking whether 6 ceilings and 4 closings could be used like that. Even the instructor was surprised, thinking that Yeon Chungwoon's movements suddenly became strangely natural. This irritated Yoon Sihu, causing him to lose his composure as he shouted the MC's name. Master Jang warned Yeon Chungwoon that the enemy would come again, but the MC remained calm, maintaining the same martial arts stance. Yoon Sihu shouted at him, asking how dare he sneak up on him with those tricks. Then he jumped at the MC, aiming to punch him. But then, an explosion echoed as someone crashed into the wall. Yeon Chungwoon had managed to push Yoon Sihu out of the arena, and everyone was shocked to see that the weakest martial artist had taken him down. Yoon Sihu lay on a pile of broken doors where he'd been thrown. The other disciples couldn't believe it and started asking what had just happened. They called out to Yoon Sihu repeatedly, but there was no response. Yeon Chungwoon, still in disbelief, stared at his hands. He started to question if that had really been the 6 ceilings and 4 closings. Master Zhang, beaming with pride, asked Yeon Chungwoon how he felt. Yeon Chungwoon, feeling as if he were on cloud 9, responded excitedly, "It was so freaking awesome." Looking up, he told Master Zhang that it truly felt like the real 6 ceilings and 4 closings, laughing hysterically. The other disciples murmured among themselves, wondering if he'd gone mad, since he had also been talking to a stone earlier. Master Zhang chuckled and said he had no idea why the heavens had allowed this, but turning serious, he asked Yeon Chungwoon what he thought of the skill, and if he wanted to learn more martial arts from him. Yeon Chungwoon, forming the martial arts courtesy gesture, bowed and called Master Zhang his master. Another day, for the martial artist, and the disciple starts cleaning the place. As the sun began to set, Yeon Chungwoon stood at the top of a cliff, overlooking the entire Wudang Sect. He clenched his fists in silence, reflecting on the battle. Suddenly, Master Zhang's voice rang out, calling him a rotten bastard. Startled, Yeon Chungwoon jumped. Master Zhang demanded to know if his hands were just for show, eyeing the crude drawing Yeon Chungwoon had made of him on the rocks, a stick figure with a large head. Master Zhang cursed the drawing, asking if that's really how Yeon Chungwoon thought he, Zhang Sanfeng, looked. Scratching his head, Yeon Chungwoon laughed and admitted he had a question. Master Zhang, irritated, told him to stop laughing because the drawing pissed him off. Yeon Chungwoon asked if it was true that Master Zhang was in the heavenly realm. Master Zhang confirmed it, wondering what the big deal was. Yeon Chungwoon excitedly said, "It must be true that paradise really exists, and that people say it's a splendid and comfortable place." Master Zhang scoffed, telling him that paradise feels like poop. Confused, Yeon Chungwoon asked what he meant. Master Zhang yelled, "I said it feels like poop." Yeon Chungwoon, astonished, asked how he could say that when he was an immortal. Master Zhang asked, "So what? What's so great about being at the bottom of the heavenly realm?" He went on to explain that Bodhidharma plows the fields under the scorching sun all day, while the heavenly demon is busy hauling buckets of poop. He added that the heavenly demon causes trouble when he drinks, once spraying sewage water on the hellish demons and pissing them off. As he spoke, Master Zhang rubbed his head in frustration. Still confused, Yeon Chungwoon asked for clarification, wondering if Master Zhang was referring to the real heavenly demon. As Yeon Chungwoon started to think that paradise might be a terrifying place, Master Zhang paced back and forth, mumbling. He lamented that he thought things would improve once he got used to it, but since he passed away like an idiot, he didn't even have a successor yet. He sighed, saying that if only he had a successor, it wouldn't be so bad living there. But Master Zhang started grabbing his beard out of frustration, lamenting that he had become the youngest in the heavenly realm. Meanwhile, Yeon Chungwoon was calling for his master since he couldn't hear him. Master Zhang then looked at Yeon Chungwoon, saying that it was still better since Yeon Chungwoon showed a bit of potential. Yeon Chungwoon didn't understand and asked for pardon. Master Zhang was thinking that he didn't know what the celestial mirror had done to break through the heavenly barrier and create this kind of mystery, but he thought there must be a reason for it. Master Zhang asked Yeon Chungwoon if, in order to learn about causality, he needed to make up his mind right now. Yeon Chungwoon, feeling an intense chill, asked for pardon regarding the celestial mirror and the heavenly barrier because he didn't know what Master Zhang was talking about. Master Zhang laughed and said it was nothing, and that he would see him tomorrow. Morning came, and the martial artists from the sect started practicing their martial arts. In the Wudang Sect outer court, like Yeon Chungwoon, some disciples were genuinely interested in martial arts. However, some wealthy families only let their children join to obtain the status of being an outer disciple of Wudang. This is because, even with good personal connections, the second and third sons of these families would always be treated as nuisances. But just as there is darkness where there is light, there are also some deviants. For example, someone like Yoon Sihu of the Deokpung Yoon Clan. Yeon Chungwoon started to think that everyone hated him for standing up against Yoon Sihu. That's probably why they were cold toward him. Yeon Chungwoon was sure that Yoon Sihu would not let him be, and would seek revenge soon. So, Yeon Chungwoon thought he must make preparations. In the Wudang Sect inner court medical hall, Yoon Sihu was there, his body completely bound in bandages after treatment. Then, a random guy appeared. He told Yoon Sihu that he must be angry because of what happened. That guy was actually the hall leader, Shin Jae-hyun, and he told Yoon Sihu that he needed to calm down since he would be the one to take action. Yoon Sihu, annoyed, said that he couldn't be satisfied with just normal punishment. The hall leader replied that he understood, as this was related to the Deokpung Yoon Clan's eldest son. The hall leader then cleared his throat, reminding Yoon Sihu about something he had asked him earlier. Yoon Sihu, irritated, looked at the hall leader and said that his father had promised to support him, so he would get the answer within a few days. The hall leader smiled, saying that this was expected from a refuted clan. The hall leader gave him something and opened it. It contained a pill. The hall leader said that Yoon Sihu could take that. This alarmed Yoon Sihu upon seeing it. The hall leader laughed and said it was a sign of sincerity to the Deokpung Yoon family's eldest son. Yoon Sihu was so excited as he picked up the elixir. The hall leader told him that it was a rare elixir, and that Yoon Sihu needed to swallow it all at once. Yoon Sihu started swallowing the pill, and it was slowly getting digested in his body. As it sank to the bottom, it was suddenly absorbed by the veins in Yoon Sihu's body. His veins began to pop out from the power of that elixir, and he mentioned Yeon Chungwoon while the power of that pill was being absorbed by his body. On the other hand, Master Zhang asked Yeon Chungwoon why he wanted to know how to win against Yoon Sihu. Yeon Chungwoon said that he wanted to learn because he had no chance of winning unless Yoon Sihu let his guard down. Master Zhang started laughing, saying that Yeon Chungwoon had some objective judgments. He told Yeon Chungwoon that if the two of them fought again, Yoon Sihu would probably hit him as many times as possible to vent his anger. Yeon Chungwoon told his master to stop teasing him and asked Master Zhang if there was a way to defeat Yoon Sihu. Master Zhang told him that there was. This made Yeon Chungwoon excited as he asked his master if there was really a method for it. This scared the old man as Yeon Chungwoon put his face close. Yeon Chungwoon excitedly asked his master to please tell him quickly. Master Zhang told him that he understood and asked Yeon Chungwoon to get his face away since it was so gross. Master Zhang told him to listen carefully, saying that he would teach Yeon Chungwoon how to create a poison, which he needed to put in that bastard's food. When Yoon Sihu woke up a few months later, Yeon Chungwoon would need to beat him up then. Yeon Chungwoon asked for pardon, questioning his master if his skills were that bad. Master Zhang asked Yeon Chungwoon if he really needed to say how weak he was. Master Zhang told him that every time Yeon Chungwoon performed the Taiji fist, he wanted to gouge out his own eyes, because his Taiji fist was totally fake. Then Yeon Chungwoon started showing off his tongue like a kid. His master asked him if he was mad at what he said. Master Zhang began to ask if there were any kinds of martial arts in paradise that could help him fix the manners of this kid. But Master Zhang told Yeon Chungwoon that he would teach him anyway, just to commemorate their master-disciple relationship. Yeon Chungwoon was excited after hearing that and asked his master if he was serious this time around. Master Zhang told him that he would teach him, and he began showing off the martial arts he had created himself. But Master Zhang started to question if he was making the right hand, because it felt so odd. He said that it had been a while, so he was not sure anymore. Then Yeon Chungwoon slowly started to walk away. Master Zhang asked him where he was going. Yeon Chungwoon told Master Zhang that he was shocked to suddenly learn something he didn't deserve, which was why he was walking away. But the truth was that he couldn't tell Master Zhang that he felt like he was wasting time doing something useless. Master Zhang asked him what was with his reaction, as it looked suspicious. Master Zhang started moving his hands faster, creating multiple forms. He told Yeon Chungwoon to sit down with his legs crossed. Master Jang told Yeon Chungwoon that he might resent his master a lot, but now that he had received his teachings, he was undoubtedly his disciple. Yeon Chungwoon, who was in a meditative position, suddenly felt the chill again for some reason. Master Zhang told him that he needed to take it, the power he sent. Master Zhang wanted to teach him the power of how to control his mind. That power slowly went towards Yeon Chungwoon. Yeon Chungwoon felt the intense pressure. He thought that was it. Master Zhang said that it was the cultivation technique, the teaching, the enlightenment, and the guide for those who wanted to walk on the righteous path. Master Zhang told Yeon Chungwoon that he shouldn't take even a single letter lightly. That power was absorbed by Yeon Chungwoon. After that intense pressure from the power, it slowly started to calm down, and Yeon Chungwoon remained in his meditative position. Master Zhang told the kid that he could stand up now. He said it would still be difficult to completely handle this cultivation technique, as it could only help him avoid getting hurt during training and get rid of useless habits for now. But before the master could finish what he was about to say, Master Zhang looked at the kid, who was still calm. Master Zhang was shocked to see it. He told Yeon Chungwoon to wait, because there was something he wanted him to try out. Leaves began to fall into Yeon Chungwoon's hand, a quiet sign of his enlightenment. Master Zhang, usually full of wisdom, was left speechless, stunned by what he had witnessed. Yeon Chungwoon called his master, saying that he would give it a try. Then he started performing a martial arts stance using the technique he gained after enlightenment. It was perfect. The power began gathering leaves around him as he became one with nature. He started manipulating the aura, which formed above his head. Master Zhang couldn't believe what he saw, saying it was impossible. He had no choice but to accept what had happened. Yeon Chungwoon had mastered the technique so well that he seemed like someone who had been using it for years. He stood in a state of calm as leaves began to surround him, floating gently in mid-air. He told Yeon Chungwoon that this time he needed to gather his energy into his fingertips. Next, he needed to think about creating small waves on the surface of water. Master Zhang told him that it was fine, even if they were small. Yeon Chungwoon started thinking about his fingertips and the waves as the leaves slowly began to fall. He put his fingertips on a leaf, touching it slowly. After that, a bright light appeared in his fingers. He was confused, asking his master what that was. Master Zhang couldn't believe it, thinking that even great waves were possible for him. Seeing Yeon Chungwoon acquire that technique, he planned to teach him another one, but that was easily learned by the child. Then he taught him another one that made him anxious, but the same thing happened, and Yeon Chungwoon was able to understand it. The old man was shocked to see that it was easily learned, and began to question how that happened. More techniques were taught. A few days later, Yeon Chungwoon had almost mastered the teachings of Master Zhang, which is why the master told him that it was enough already. Yeon Chungwoon asked his master if he could beat Yoon Sihu now. The master said that no outer disciple could be his opponent anymore. Master Zhang told him that since he had mastered the lucid cultivation technique, he would no longer be distracted by trivial matters, just like him. But at the same time, Master Zhang was panicking for some reason, muttering curses. The next thing that happened was that the kid was called by the hall leader of the Wudang Sect. Yeon Chungwoon asked the hall leader at that time what he meant when he said that he wanted Yeon Chungwoon to descend from the mountain. Master Zhang was so angry, saying that Wudang was a complete mess right now. The hall leader said that Yeon Chungwoon was such a dimwit, and told him that was exactly why he hadn't made any achievement so far. The hall leader told Yeon Chungwoon to go down the mountain and never come near Wudang again. Yeon Chungwoon asked him for the reason, and if it was because of Yoon Sihu. He also asked the hall leader if the Wudang Sect had always been that kind of place, one that discriminates based on one's background. This hit a nerve with the hall leader. He slammed the table, saying that Yeon Chungwoon was such a cocky bastard, and asked how dare he judge the Wudang Sect. The hall leader shouted at Yeon Chungwoon, telling him to get lost immediately, saying that letting him off without punishment was his last mercy. Yeon Chungwoon started protesting, but he didn't finish what he was about to say. He thought that he needed to hold it in. He reflected that he would have lost his mind already if he had not learned about the lucid cultivation technique. In the end, Yeon Chungwoon decided to leave without saying anything. He thought he must endure it for now, and that he would make sure they regretted what they did to him. While descending into the mountain, Yeon Chungwoon told his master that it was still a relief. Master Zhang, who was furious about how dirty the sect he had established had become, asked Yeon Chungwoon what was so relieving about it. Yeon Chungwoon said that what he meant was how he immediately called him master, because it would be strange if he continued to call him ancestor after being kicked out of the Wudang Sect. Master Zhang told Yeon Chungwoon that what he was saying was all nonsense, but before he completely descended down the mountain, Yeon Chungwoon looked back at the Wudang Sect. He bowed in the direction of Wudang. Yeon Chungwoon told his master that even though he was leaving Wudang now, he wanted to offer Master Zhang the 9-bow ritual as his disciple. Yoon Sihu then appeared, as this bastard was actually waiting for Yeon Chungwoon. Yoon Sihu asked Yeon Chungwoon what he was doing, wondering if the MC was bowing on his knees to apologize for his mistake. Yoon Sihu was with his gang, which was why he was acting so arrogantly. Yoon Sihu told Yeon Chungwoon that if he was going to do it, then he must do it properly in front of him. Yoon Sihu started stretching his hands, telling the MC that he needed to beg for forgiveness, and he might let Yeon Chungwoon off after a few beatings. Yeon Chungwoon just tapped his clothes and asked Yoon Sihu if he wanted to get beaten again. This hit a nerve with Yoon Sihu, and he started cursing the MC. Yoon Sihu ordered his underlings to beat up Yeon Chungwoon. The 3 underlings began to gang up on him from all sides. One tried to deliver a flying kick from one side, while the other was trying to punch him in the face. But for Yeon Chungwoon, their attacks were slow, and he could see everything. Master Zhang said that, of course, he could see that, and that was the reason why the technique was called lucidity. Seeing Yeon Chungwoon manage to evade their attacks easily made the underlings annoyed, and they began cursing him, calling him a rat. But a sudden counterattack was launched by the MC that the underlings weren't able to see. Yoon Sihu was quite alarmed to see his underlings being beaten like that. One was thrown aside, and the other 2 ended up unconscious easily. In the end, only 2 of them remained. Yeon Chungwoon started taunting Yoon Sihu, asking what he was doing and telling him to come at him right now. Yoon Sihu was quite annoyed by what had happened, calling Yeon Chungwoon a foolish bastard. He gathered energy in his hand as he rushed forward toward the MC, telling Yeon Chungwoon that he would make him remember the old days when he used to beat him up. But the different colors and gaze in the eyes of Yoon Sihu caught the attention of Master Zhang. He told Yeon Chungwoon that he needed to watch out because that bastard had the eyes of someone on drugs. Yeon Chungwoon followed his master's warning. Even as the enemy rushed toward him, Yeon Chungwoon stood still, looking at Yoon Sihu. He noticed Yoon Sihu's movements and began to wonder if he was combining bow steps with a weighted palm. Yeon Chungwoon thought to watch first and then wait for the moment when he could block it with his hand and snatch it away like a hook. He concluded that he could just dodge it and comprehend it, and that's exactly what happened when Yoon Sihu's attack didn't work. Master Zhang told him that was the intuitive lucidity. Yoon Sihu was sweating and shocked. He began to question what had happened, as the attack he felt was not what he expected. Yoon Sihu shouted out of frustration, but Yeon Chungwoon just stuck his foot out. This caused Yoon Sihu to lose his balance, resulting in a perfect landing with his face hitting the ground first. Yoon Sihu shook while slowly rising up, cursing in his mind. He wondered why, even after taking elixirs, he couldn't land a single hit. Yeon Chungwoon looked at this arrogant guy with pity, but Yoon Sihu didn't want to surrender. He continued to swear at the MC, calling him an arrogant bastard. Then he started collecting dirt in his hand and threw it into the MC's eyes. The MC was not prepared for that dirty attack, and the dirt hit his eyes. Yeon Chungwoon started closing his eyes because of it and called Yoon Sihu a cowardly bastard. Yoon Sihu told Yeon Chungwoon that no one was a fool or coward when it came to fighting. Yeon Chungwoon, with his eyes closed, acknowledged that Yoon Sihu was right about that. Then, he flicked some stones from his hand. Yoon Sihu wasn't prepared for the sudden attack, and one of the stones landed a perfect shot on his head. Yoon Sihu slowly opened his eyes. Looking at the small object that hit him, he began to question why there was a rock there. With that, Yeon Chungwoon was able to grab Yoon Sihu by the collar. Yoon Sihu begged him to wait and stop, but Yeon Chungwoon's punch was already approaching the cowardly bastard. It landed perfectly in Yoon Sihu's abdomen. Yoon Sihu felt the pain from that single blow. He started coughing and fell to his knees, but the MC didn't mind him as he slowly walked away. Even in his state, Yoon Sihu couldn't believe what had happened and asked Yeon Chungwoon how he had become so strong. Yeon Chungwoon told him it was none of his business. Before leaving, he looked at the poor guy with disgust and warned him to never appear in front of him again unless he wished to keep being trampled on. But Yoon Sihu, still full of pride, called Yeon Chungwoon a little one. The MC didn't mind him, even as he shouted for him to stop and wait. On the other hand, the proud master was so happy about what had happened. After burping for too long, Master Zhang said that his 10 years of chronic congestion were now gone. He then questioned if the heavenly realm was always this beautiful, but realized the reality was not. Noticing that he was the youngest master, his face began to change. Master Zhang told Yeon Chungwoon to listen up. He said that in the martial arts of the orthodox faction, oneself is the only enemy one can speak of. Refining martial arts is like refining oneself, and it should not focus solely on defeating others. Master Zhang asked him if he understood what his master meant. Yeon Chungwoon replied that he was aware of that as well. His master asked if he was sure about what he was saying. Yeon Chungwoon affirmed that he was right because he had learned that much. Hearing this made Master Zhang want Yeon Chungwoon to be his disciple. He was worried that Yeon Chungwoon's violence would be so intense that he wouldn't be able to ascend to heaven. But now, after hearing his disciple's thoughts, he cherished this kid even more. However, Yeon Chungwoon felt differently. Master Zhang told his disciple that they needed to call it a day since the Jade Emperor had ordered him to do something, and he needed to finish that up. He told his disciple that he would be back, and advised him to take care on his way home. Yeon Chungwoon agreed with his master. As he was running, Master Zhang remarked that he would raise the brat well so he could escape being the youngest. This puzzled another person in the heavenly realm, a bald old man who was curious about what Zhang Sanfeng was doing in that place. At last, the MC had reached Shenyang County. Yeon Chungwoon's family was waiting for him outside their house. He greeted them, saying that he had already returned. His father, Yeon Kyunggaling, stood there like a proud father, while his mother, Han Saki, was crying, perhaps because she missed her son. His little brother, Chungwoo, rushed toward his older brother. His father tapped his shoulder, welcoming him back. He said it was a relief to see someone set on becoming a martial artist return safe and sound. Yeon Chungwoon, looking disappointed in himself, told his father that he had no excuses for what happened. His father reassured him that it was fine, stating that the one who was lacking was the Wudang Sect. His mother added that after hearing the news, his father couldn't sleep a wink. The father, embarrassed, told his wife to cut it out. Yeon Chungwoon could only smile at his father, thinking that he must have been worried. To him, his father was still as gentle as ever, trying to maintain that stern facade. Yeon Chungwoon was ordered by his father to greet his grandfather, so this young man followed his father. His grandfather welcomed him. His name was Yeon Jaeon, and he was the person closest to the reason why Yeon Chungwoon developed an admiration for martial artists. His grandfather said something that caught his attention. His grandfather said that if everything had been proceeding without a hitch, then he shouldn't have returned yet. His grandfather asked him if he had been kicked out. Yeon Chungwoon didn't offer any excuses and simply admitted that was what happened to him. His grandfather then asked if it was his fault that he had been kicked out. Yeon Chungwoon replied that he had done something, but it wasn't entirely his fault. His grandfather reassured him that it was fine, and after hearing what his grandson said, he asked Yeon Chungwoon what he was planning to do going forward. Yeon Chungwoon replied that he was thinking of staying home for the time being. Hearing this made his grandfather look at him intently and ask if he had given up on becoming a martial artist. He reminded Yeon Chungwoon of what he had said back then, that he didn't have to live a grand life. Yeon Chungwoon responded that what his grandfather told him in the past was that if that was what he truly wanted, then he would root for him, even if he chose to hold a sword instead of a brush. His grandfather asked him if he was giving up that easily. Yeon Chungwoon's face was full of determination as he told his grandfather that he hadn't given up and had a goal in mind. He explained that things happened, and he ended up returning home, but he would persevere. His grandfather smiled, saying he understood what his grandson was saying and that he could leave now. Yeon Chungwoon asked for permission to depart from his grandfather. Then the old man began to think about something. He questioned when was the last time that Brat had looked at him straight in the eyes like that. He thought about how Yeon Chungwoon's gaze had improved during the time he hadn't seen him. He wondered when his grandson had grown so much. The morning came, and Yeon Chungwoon emerged from his chamber. He said to himself that now that he had finished all the big stuff, he couldn't be lazy about training. Then a stone caught his attention, and he sat down in an Indian seat to begin his meditation. While meditating, Yeon Chungwoon reflected that, thanks to the lucid cultivation technique, the conversation with his grandfather had gone much more smoothly than he had anticipated. He knew his grandfather was a good man, but Yeon Chungwoon always felt nervous around him. Then another old man spoke up, asking how good of a talent Yeon Chungwoon was that he was laying such a vast foundation upon him. Yeon Chungwoon wondered in his mind if this was his master. The old man continued, stating that the lucid cultivation technique was built upon the foundation of the Tao Crafter clandestine technique, combined with strength reversal and supplemented with yoga techniques from Tianzu. Yeon Chungwoon asked if his master had returned already. He thought he would be gone for a long time, since he spoke as if he would be away for a while. Yeon Chungwoon remarked that his master's way of speaking had become a lot more unique. That person was actually one of the heavenly masters in the heavenly realm, Bodhidharma. He asked Yeon Chungwoon if he could hear him. Yeon Chungwoon, thinking it was Master Jiang, told him to stop joking around. He thought that his master must have been quite bored, but even so, disturbing his training was a bit much. On the other hand, Master Bodhidharma seemed excited and said that it had been a long time since he last heard someone call him master. Yeon Chungwoon began scratching his head. He was thinking that his master had mentioned he had a lot to complain about, and he began to question if that was why he was trying to make him train even harder. He was thinking that his master is in strict and serious mode. Yeon Chungwoon, still believing it was Master Jiang, told Master Dharma to speak comfortably like before. Master Dharma then asked Yeon Chungwoon if he should teach him a martial arts technique. Yeon Chungwoon became so excited and eagerly accepted, calling Master Dharma his master. He added that he could now tease him however he wanted. Master Dharma's muscles began to bulge with excitement as he replied that it was good to have Yeon Chungwoon calling him master. He promised to keep demonstrating the technique until Yeon Chungwoon mastered it. Transforming from a once bald martial master into a muscular figure, Master Dharma told Yeon Chungwoon that he could take his time and learn it well. After that, as Yeon Chungwoon practiced the method, he felt something touching his veins. He thought it was strange. Each time the transmitted method connected with his body, he felt as if a solid core was being established within him, just like the unwavering foundation of the earth. In that moment, Yeon Chungwoon mastered another technique from yet another strong heavenly master.